Welcome to Living Once Twice, a lifestyle design and personal adventure podcast. My name is Justin. Come with me as I'm here to help you chart your course for creating the fulfilling life you desire. Join me as every Wednesday we'll dive into the inspiring guest stories, remarkable science, and useful strategies to help you create the momentum you need to take action towards designing your dream life. Remember, your dream life is waiting for you. It's time to go for it. You deserve it. Greetings all. Welcome back to Living Once Twice, the place where we rewrite narratives, reinvent ourselves, and reimagine our lives. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. Before we dive in, please be sure to subscribe, leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, and give us a follow on the Instagram at Living Once Twice, where we give you more great content. This marks the final episode of season 7. So shout out to you all for your support and taking the walk with me in this journey of growth, of expansion, of redesign. But we will be back for another season in the new year, so stay tuned for that in January. But when it comes to this season, I hope you took away a lot of just great insight and inspiration from all of our amazing guests. When I look back and reflect over the course of this season, all 9 of the episodes, all 6 of the guests, among the many gems and jewels of wisdom that were shared, one of the undeniable threads that arose for me is this reminder to drop the mask. I was reading this tiny Buddha article about the freedom of living an authentic life. And there's this amazing quote that I want to share with you, which is, it takes courage to grow up and become who you really are. And that's an E.E Cummings quote. And let that sit for a minute. It takes courage to grow up and become who you really are. Each of the guests this season, through their stories, through their personal testimonies, through their journey of becoming and their offerings, helped us see that as we learn to drop the mask, and in some cases, masks, plural, we will find our way back to authentic living. And I think it's important for us to talk about, though, these masks and really revisit how they even get there and got there in the first place. I think in some way, shape, or form, we all wear these masks. And some of it is for completely logical and survival reasons. I mean, there's your 9-to-5 mask that you have to wear in your professional life, or that you have to wear when you're facilitating that meeting. There's that outgoing and friendly mask that you maybe wear as a front when you're in social settings. Maybe there's that agreeable, keeping the peace mask that you wear when you're around family and friends. You know, we can go on and on and on. But you and I know that within these masks that we wear, we know what lies beneath that goes so much deeper. And our guest this season really highlighted that. I think about Danny Morley. When I think of his story in episode 66, Healing Alcoholism and Victim Consciousness, Danny spoke so just honestly about how he used alcohol as a mask to cover up the pain, the depression, the unhealed wounds from childhood. And perhaps the mask that you might be hiding behind is in the form of an addiction to a different drug, holding up an image of yourself, a certain image of yourself in front of others. I know that conversation with Danny rung so deeply true for me. And I'm a living testament of that as we speak of how to really remove that mask. And sharing with you personally, I, throughout the course of this season, this year in my life, have had to really look at the masks, including how do I project and portray myself to people or on social media? Is that the true me? Or is that some fantasy version that I want to show publicly, knowing that it's not the true me? And I don't know, how about you? How does that land in terms of, are there masks in your life that you're hiding behind, that you've adopted because of your upbringing, your background, your fears, insecurities, even the projections of identity that you've taken on based on the outside world's perception? This could mean, for example, if you're a mom, as our guest Melissa Lorena shared in episode 71, do you feel the need to wear this mask that you have to show up for everyone else while sacrificing your own needs and well-being? Or as Danny and me talked about, discussing you just being a man, do you think that you have to wear this mask where you don't show emotion, you don't show weakness, or you even wear the mask of being promiscuous because society, your friend circle tells you that to be admired, you're going to be admired and glorified for that behavior? There's a lot of different examples that I could give you. But at this point, as you think about the mask that you wear, the golden question that rang true is, what are you going to do with that awareness to get back to your authentic self? And as Melissa Lorena has shared, you have to make a decision between who you are and who the world tells you that you should be. And that stripping away process, that is a personal journey that we all must endure and take on if we want to get back to our authentic self, if we want to experience the level of peace that we all deeply deserve. Each of our guests explained that stripping away process. And it's an uncomfortable death. It's an uncomfortable death of self. It's an uncomfortable death of ego. I know our guest in episode 69, Madrea Andrade, discussed the process that she went through. And I think it really best describes it. It's so simply put. Mayara said that it's simply breaking the vases. And she had to break her own vase. And you must trust that you have the power, as Mayara outlined, to rebuild your pieces. And while that process is going to be personal, you don't have to do it alone. Mayara talked about going to therapy. Danny talked about finding his mentor, the amazing Rachel Fiore, whom I hope to have as a guest someday, just putting that out there in the universe. And this process also might involve just doing inner work of really reassessing your own values, evaluating your current values, and then understanding, like, are you living in alignment with them? Are they healthy values? Are they values from the outside world? Are those values that are actually authentic to you? What do you care about? What is important to you? Taking the time to strip away yourself to the lowest atom is exactly what is necessary to strip these masks away, to tear them away, and again, to go on that road of putting the pieces back together. And for myself, as I discussed, that involved connecting with our guest, coach, relationship coach, and marriage and family therapist, Joy Rossillon, in episode 68, discovering that behind my own mask was at the root a lot of my self-sabotaging behaviors and inauthentic living was at the root inadequacy, the fear of not being enough, which was really an unaddressed physical and emotional wound that I suppressed when I was 13. And that is why we must do the work of breaking our own vase and stripping away our mask, because as we dive deeper, and as I learned through a lot of my own healing journey, those pains, unhealed trauma, emotional wounds from our childhood can play a significant part in the mask that we wear. I know for myself, the insecurity of my 13-year-old self was a significant part of the narcissistic mask that I've worn for oh so long. The mask of showing a false impression, false confidence, being so positive, when instead underneath the truth of it all, underneath that mask was so much pain and lack of inner peace. And the honest fact that I was struggling with a lot of toxic habits, toxic additions that I didn't want the outside world to know about. But here's the interesting thing about life. It often gives us gifts in the form of turning points that either crack that vase or just break it completely. And as I was sharing with you earlier, the article that I was reading by Silken Lohman wrote that this is expressed perfectly when she says, the people I know who are fully and authentically themselves have been led there by difficult events, a crisis that shook their world, by insights that have loosened their masks long enough to reveal the people underneath waiting to breathe and live fully. So if you're going through a difficult season, experiencing some upheaval, a loss of a job, a loss of a relationship, a loss of a marriage, a loss of a friendship, an impact to your health, this could be your opportunity to look in the mirror at the mask that you've been wearing and to finally break away from those that do not serve you, or to reconnect with a lost part of yourself, even give your life a new sense of purpose and meaning. Our guest, Jasmine Garrett, explained, we aren't here to live in prolonged periods of unhappiness, grief, and pain. It's my belief, and I've heard this from the great Les Brown. We are here to live. We are here to love. We are here to learn, to build, to connect, to create, to inspire, to heal, to serve, to grow. And I'll end with, again, here to love. But faith without works, it's dead. It's dead in its meaning. So we have to play an active role in shredding the masks, shredding the personas that we've been wearing and even feel stuck in. And Andrew Gordon discussed in episode 67 that we don't have to live stay locked into these prisons, these often mental and psychological prisons created by the mask that we wear. As Andrew outlined, even for himself, we all have the key to unlocking ourselves. And oftentimes that prison that we're in, the door is not even locked, right? We have the key, but the door is not even locked. It's just the mental and the psychological prison of, whether it's uncertainty, of fear, of shame, of guilt, or whatever it might be. We're hiding behind that. We're allowing to continue to keep us trapped in. So underneath that, what is the fear? As you're stepping into, as we start to wrap things up, what I want to say is this. As we prepare to step into a new year, I encourage you to ask yourself, what are the masks? What are the personas that you're hiding behind? And underneath that, what is the fear? What is the pain? What is the truth that you're running from or suppressing? Because now it is time to confront it and to actively work on healing it and moving forward in your life. It's time for us all to come back home to ourselves. And I truly hope you are ready to go on that journey to doing that. I'll be back next season with more fuel to help you and to help you stay and keep you on that journey and to keep you sustained as you're going along your way. So as I wrap it up, I just appreciate you all, because that's it for today's show. I just am so grateful to you all for your support and your presence in tuning in today and to all of the amazing guests throughout the season. If you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed this season, please show your support by sharing the Living Once Twice podcast on Instagram, LinkedIn, leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Also, be sure to give us a follow on Living Once Twice for more content updates, reaching out to you all through the time and the space that separates us to say, remember, your dream life is waiting for you. It's time to go for it. You deserve it. Catch you later on Living Once Twice.